Has it been 5 minutes since this game ended and I'm already recording a D&D story time about it? Yes, it has. For those of you who have seen my other D&D story times, I'm trying something different. This is a lot easier. I recorded some gameplay and I'm just going to talk over it because it seems much easier than attempting to illustrate things, and it's actually enjoyable for me because I get to play video games. In any event, we played a sci-fi game run by one of my good friends. His name is Brisk on our Discord server. I'll have a link to that in the description if you want to join and play in these games with us. But we had a party of 3 hill dwarves, a half-orc, and a large buff elf named Jax. We also had an assassin in the party that was technically a rogue class. I played as the big, brute, dumb elf, Jax. And the first real event that happens is Jack kind of just approaches the dwarf and pays for his drinks and just says, "You're my brain now, I'm too dumb to think for myself." Shortly after this, there's a bit of talking that happens, just characters introducing themselves, typical stuff, and the assassin falls from the ceiling and breaks our table in half, and the half-orc attempts to hit it out of the way, but he kind of just does a backflip and completely avoids the half-orc's hit. So Jax just says Jax wishes to help, because at this point he's made friends with the half-orc, and he grabs the assassin by the throat and pins him against a wall and kind of just sits there and waits. And at this point, I don't want to get into a lot of the details because there was quite a bit of dialogue. I don't want to say it was wordy, all the dialogue was necessary. I just don't want to make this YouTube video super long. We were essentially hired to go and take a ship from a Tiefling captain, I believe it was. It was a Tiefling captain. Don't know why it took me so long to remember. That Tiefling captain becomes important later on in the story, so I think you guys are gonna like this. Anyways, we start walking to the outer entrance of the ship port after taking the offer from these strange men, and we get there and there's a dock worker waiting at the door. But first, I'm going to describe getting into the actual entrance. We all showed up, and Jax, unknowing, thinking he was giving a gift, gave over his great axe. Didn't seem like anything different. The guards asked for it, so he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be kind, I'm gonna give these guards a gift." And then he pulls out more weapons, which the guards were confiscating at the time, and he says, I want to trade these for your gun. I've always wanted a gun, and I don't have one." So he offers this trade to the guards, and this kind of freaks the guards out a little bit. They just start ordering him and the half-orc, who they've now pulled over to the side, and start making them take all their weapons off. So, unwillingly, he gives everything away except his hand axe, which he tries to hide, and he tries to sneak in, but he fails at sneaking this in. He fails that miserably. And the guards take it, and he gets upset because it was his mother's hand axe. He has an interesting backstory. If you guys ever want me to, I'll make a YouTube video on his backstory. But he fails the check, the sleight of hand check, and the guards notice it and take his weapon at gunpoint. And he gives it up, and he walks in reluctantly. And after a long time and like 4 attempts, eventually the warlock in the party, in the limited magic world, he threw a noisemaker that it worked like an illusion spell, but it basically made the sound of an explosion, and they sent a bunch of guards to go investigate the explosion, thinking it was a terror attack. And after several more attempts after that happened, they finally got the axe, and they cast an invisibility illusion on it so that the guards wouldn't see it, and snuck it in and gave it back, and he kind of lit up. And now, back to that shady-looking dock worker. So now, at this point, most of the party has been stripped of all of their weapons, except for very small ones that they were able to sneak in past the guards. And we enter this area with the ship, and we're all admiring the ship a little bit. And then the captain, the actual owner of the ship that we're about to take, walks in, and he looks around, and he asks what we're doing by his ship. And Jax just kind of turns and he's like, "Okay, friends, stay calm. I got this." And he looks at him and he says, we're the cleaning crew for your ship." And the captain goes, "Now I know I've not ordered a cleaning crew. I think you're lying." And at this point, the half orc smacks him on the back of the head and says, "No, tell the truth." So Jax just nods at him and says, "Yes, I'm sorry, I lied to you. I will tell the truth to you. We're the repair crew." And the tiefling just looks at him like he's stupid, and he goes, I didn't really need that either." So he gets smacked on the back of the head once again by the half-orc, and the half-orc says, "No, tell the truth." So Jax is just like, "Okay, fine, we're stealing your ship." And at this point, everybody realizes everything's about to go down, and like half the party sprints into the ship, straight to safety. And then it gets to Jax's turn. Jax, having taken a liking to Otter's character, can't remember the name even though this game happened just recently, but he takes a liking to Otter's character, which he refers to as Brain, and he's the dwarf that he declared as his brain at the beginning of the game. He tries to pick him up and throw him into the ship, but fails horribly, and throws the dwarf like 3 feet, and seeing that he's failed horribly at doing what he wanted to, he just kind of stands in front of him and spreads his arm, trying to protect his brain. And he says several times, "The body is useless without a brain." He kind of neglects the fact that a brain is useless without the body, but he's dead set on protecting this guy. So he stands in front of him, and the tiefling tries to charge and starts to go for the guy that is guarding the ship door, waiting for us to go on. But he realizes that my back is completely open, and he turns and runs towards me with the intent to tackle me. But on the way past, the man guarding the door swings a sledgehammer down on his back, which hurts a section of his armor, and he kind of stumbles and slams into me, and we both go flying over Brain. I'm going to just refer to him as Brain for the continuation of the game. And he successfully protects Brain, and in his moment of pain, he just feels a sheer joy for a second as he realizes he successfully protected Brain. So, as this is happening, they stand up, or not they, Brain stands up, I think it was Brain, and swings the sledgehammer down on the same broken part of the armor, which knocks the wind out of the tiefling and causes him to fall flat on the floor. And Jax just stands up and smiles, and he says he's always wanted a halfling horn. So he goes over to the halfling, and he puts his foot on its back and raises up an axe, and he swings down, and the first time he fails, he either misses or just barely nicks it. But at that point, Brain has decided that he is going to assist Jax. So Jax gets to swing one more time, and Jax this time rolls high enough and cuts off the horn of this tiefling, and the tiefling screams in pain because the nerves in his horn are severed, and he just passes out from the pain and starts to bleed a little bit from where he was a little bit cut by the hand axe that cut down on his horn. And Brain leads him onto the ship. So the dock worker that originally brought them into the ship is mortified by this. So the dock worker looks at him weird, and while this is happening, Jax is like touching his fingers to the blood in the horn and looking at it and licking it to see what it tastes like, because he's just a weird and curious and dumb guy. And after this, the ship takes off, and they end up in space, and that's where I'm going to be leaving this episode. I hope you guys liked it. If you want more of this, then just comment, and I will put up more videos of the sci-fi game stories as the sci-fi game continues. Link for the Discord server in the description if you're interested in joining that, and thanks for watching.